Max, I'll start with you here. We didn't get to talk about Collin Sexton going to the Cavs. Do you like this pick, and is he enough to keep them relevant if LeBron leaves?
No, he's not enough to keep him relevant. The whole thing with Collin Sexton is going to come down to, can he shoot? You know, we talk about how it's possible to develop a shot, but oftentimes we see it doesn't work out that way. I'm reminded of the draft, and maybe neither one worked out exactly. D'Angelo Russell or Emmanuel Mudiay, right? Mudiay was this incredible athlete and all this, and he reminded people of Russell Westbrook, but he never learned how to shoot, and that was that, really. And I think the same thing applies here. Is he going to be able to shoot it? If he is, he'll be excellent, but that's unclear now. And considering that's it for the Cavs, no, I don't think that's enough to keep LeBron there.
Max,
well, first of all,
Emmanuel Mudiay and Collin Sexton are not even in the same conversation athletic-wise. They're nowhere close, my man. I'm just telling you, this kid, granted, he may not be a consistent dead-eye shooter, but he is an elite scorer. You know, I got a chance to watch him. He played against Minnesota, and Jay Rose and I were talking about this on Get Up this morning. You know, it is an indictment on Minnesota, but they had foul trouble. They lost people to injury. They played 3 versus 5. And this kid had 40 points, and they had a chance to win the game. I was watching Minnesota send multiple guards to try to defend Collin Sexton. There is a chip on his shoulder, and I've seen it since day one. He wants to be the best. He is a guy that will be in the gym every day. And I don't see this about college kids. I don't see kids come up to me and ask me questions or who can I work out with? You know, what do I do differently on my game? You know, how can I be more assertive? How can I be a better leader? He is a student of the game, and he wants it more than any other player I've seen in this draft. It may not be the thing that keeps LeBron in Cleveland, but it's sure one hell of a thing for Dan Gilbert to draft because it's starting to build back the culture that is very similar to how LeBron wants to play. I'll say that about Collin Sexton.
I completely agree with you, Jay. Collin Sexton is that kind of dude, Max. And you know what? That's the kind of dude that Avery Johnson loves to coach. One thing about Avery Johnson that gets underestimated, the man knows how to coach the game of basketball. Now, he might rub some people the wrong way from time to time, but that's because he's a fiery kind of guy. And he's going to demand a level of excellence. He's going to demand a level of perfection. And he has no patience for softies whatsoever. And that is not Collin Sexton. He comes for it. He comes after it. He's fearless. He's not scared of anybody. He believes he can put the ball in the hole. You are right, Max. He does have to work on his shot, and I don't believe he's going to have any. He's going to have any impact whatsoever in whatever decision LeBron ends up making.
Right. That's the question.
But I will tell you this.
I agree with
that's right. But
I agree with your point, Stephen. I agree with you and Jay about his athletic ability.
Well, allow me to say it for you. I'm telling you, I know you agree. I'm telling you that you're right with what you're saying. The point that I'm making is that in the end, you're absolutely right. It's not going to have any impact on LeBron, but I will tell you this. It would have been nice to see him with LeBron because this guy, I don't think that he can dance on people the way Kyrie does. But in terms of an assassin's mentality or ruthlessness when it comes to putting the ball in the hole and taking on any and all challengers, yes, he does mirror Kyrie in that regard.
Does it help him at all, Jay, you think, if LeBron is not there in terms of, obviously, you get to practice against LeBron, play with LeBron, it's going to make you better. But on the other hand, LeBron is ball dominant. Does it help his growth at all if LeBron isn't there?
It does help his growth, obviously, when you're required to do more with your skill set than what you will be required to do with LeBron. I think having LeBron stay in Cleveland adds a completely new dimension of pressure for a young player right out of the gate. Now, Collin Sexton is a guy that will accept that. He'll embrace that. He's not going to run away from it. Is his shot good enough for them to win major playoff games, to win the Eastern Conference Final? Is it that reliable? No, not yet. He needs a couple of years to really fine-tune that, and he will do that. But he's a guy, it's a year and a half, 2 years away. He plays with that Russell type of mentality with those Eric Bledsoe-type shoulders. I'll tell you something that was really shocking to me last night. And the kid is really, really talented. But I would have taken Collin Sexton before I would have taken Trae Young. Let me tell you why.
That was the question.
Trae Young is 6'1.5". He is 185 pounds, soaking wet. And one of the things that I saw that happened, now he was a volume shooter in college. The kid is crazy talented. I was one of the first ones to say he reminded me of Stephen Curry because of the range, the shots he was taking within the game. But he was also averaging around 25, 26 shots per night. Now, Atlanta's an interesting situation for him because he's a guy, they're going to need him to score. but I don't know if I see him being that superstar level guard at that level because you can push him around. Now, he can do things off the ball screen. He's very dynamic in that capacity, but he needs other really good pieces around him. I don't know if I see him being the level of caliber of player that I see Collin Sexton or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander being in the future.
Stephen A.,
I think what happened,
Max.
Go ahead. Well, I was going to say, Jay, I think what happened was I was with you on Sexton throughout most of the process. But as the draft drew nearer, I started thinking hard about it and thinking, you know what, when push comes to shove, Trae Young can shoot it. You know, like it's unclear. He may be closer to Jimmer Fredette than to Steph Curry, but he can shoot it. And in recent drafts, we've seen teams assuming, well, we can fix the shot. You know, but it's unclear what's going to happen with Markelle Fultz or Lonzo Ball. We don't know if those shots can be fixed, particularly Lonzo Ball's. I'm not saying Sexton's like Lonzo Ball with the ugly shot.
I was going to say, please, yeah.
Just that the way it's planned out recently, the guys who can shoot it seem to be a safer bet than the guys who can't.